I'm here with Ben Parkinson from the Butterfly Project, and I want to talk about something that, as far as I know, it only happened the once, but it's definitely a head-turning moment when you told me this happened. You ran a LARP. Your face says it all.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I think the LARP itself is really a very challenging thing to run, and I've known a few people now who've done this, and they're all very expert. But we do our best, and we try to put something together. Um, and each time that we've done it, it's been one of our butterflies who have come up with the story.
Oh, so you've done this more than once now.
Yeah.
I only heard of it being done once at the first board game convention you ran.
Yeah, in
So,
fact, the second one we did it,
oh,
and the third one. Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, the LARP was it was really very successful the first time we did it, and so we thought, well, we must do it again. And Patrick came up with really quite an amazing story for the second time we did it, LARP 2. Um, and Yeah, but the first time, what we had to do is we had to make all of the different weapons and shields, and we what we discovered out of that was that there were quite a lot of the children that we work with who were really good at this, um, and it kind of exposed their talent in crafts and making things, and one of them is now learning how to be a carpenter. In fact, more than one. Learning to have carpentry skills as a result of realizing that he was very practical and was able to do these kinds of things in the LARP. As far as the LARP itself is concerned, um, I think there are some challenges with it. And remember, we do this because it's fun for the kids. Um, the challenges are to put across the story, because the story has to be put across in local language, which is obviously we have people that do speak in local language, but all of the different concepts and the fantasy concepts, it's not easy for these children to immediately grasp these things. But Patrick has been trying to do this as best he can and try to make it clear for the village children as to what it is it's all about. But yeah, they love the fighting process, of course. And this year we made a few weapons, but we were able to use the weapons from the first convention that we did it at. Are we going to do it this year? I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah, and as with most of the things we do, we try to do it better each year. And the LARP will be one of those things where we say, right, now what went well last year? And we need really to try to work out a way to bring them and have all of these people to embrace the idea of the story. And that's the one thing that I would really like them to start to do, because it will develop their imagination, because they are then enacting a real story, not just interested in the fighting. But the first year we did it, we also had things like puzzles, quests to do, and that really worked well. And we did those in the second version as well. But I think this third time that we do the LARP, that will be one thing that we focus on, to try to engage them with the story.
Awesome.
We need to get practicing on the fighting and make sure we've got a good way of making sure that's fair as well. Obviously, if we recruited somebody and then they didn't pass, they wouldn't be able to come onto the project, because they need to be going into secondary. So while this might seem like something which is perhaps children should be passing, but in the village areas, a lot of it is dependent upon the schooling, the level of the teaching at the school. And so we need to be a bit careful. And because if the level of teaching is not very high, then that might also impact on things as well. Um, and the village children, they have a much lower pass rate. Obviously, not because they are unintelligent compared to city children, but simply because of the teaching. The standards in the village areas is much lower. So, so we need to make sure we have a good chance of making sure that they have all passed. Yeah. Whereas in the cities, almost everyone passes, but in the villages, it's not like that.
Right.
So, so yeah, that's that process. As far as what we teach, once they come to us, then almost all of our members so far have been village based, and therefore their life experience is very low. And so, one of the key things that we do in terms of our own vision for the project is we say that we want to broaden their horizons. And the main reason for that, broaden their experience, life experience, and the main reason for that is what helps make them to make better decisions. And we will want them, as they grow up, to make good decisions. And if they're going to be a leader in their communities, then they need to make good decisions. So that's one of the key areas.
So how do you do that though for a child that's sort of grown up in a remote village? What do you do as an educator to give them life experience that they can't get in their village?
Okay, well, we use film quite a lot, and we show a whole variety of different types of films. We allow them to travel to places. We give them a variety of different foods to try, different varieties of music to listen to. We show them, we get them involved in different artistic pursuits. For instance, we might be doing drama with them, and we bring in people for them to meet. We show them how to use the computers, which some of them don't even know what a computer is, So we'll show them what a computer is used for, and then they get used to typing, so we teach them how to type. And subsequently, the different office packages, we cover all of those in the first 2 years of the training. I guess one of the other key areas is traveling from place to place, because the rural children rarely, if ever, travel. Yes, they come all the way to Kampala for our training, which sometimes could be 5 or 6 hours or even longer to travel there, but that's not really. The idea is we want them to have the confidence to be able to travel from one place to another. And in the first year, we give them an exercise to do where they have to travel all around Kampala. We give them the money to move from place to place, but they do it under a certain amount of supervision. But they do this, and they learn to ask questions and to find their way around the city. So once they've done that, you will be surprised how their whole attitude has changed about their own personal capability. They'll start to talk about, well, where can I go next? I'd like to go there, and you can let me. I can go on my own. Next time. So they're starting to have this kind of showing initiative to do things. We want to show them how to do that. Oh, cooking is another thing. We talked about eating, but we also show them how to do all sorts of different types of cooking. We have a gas cooker there as well, which is helpful so they can bake, which they don't do in the villages generally. So yeah, the idea is to just broaden that experience.
Cool, that's amazing.
The other key thing that we do, which, well, it sounds like it's us kind of almost, well, the area is ethics. that we cover. And this is one of the areas which we cover. We have something called the 10 tenets. And the 10 tenets are 10 different things that we ask all of our butterfly members to do. So for instance, the first one at the top of the list is honesty. And we talk about responsibility for themselves and their environment, equality, from beggars to presidents, that's the way we put it. And there are 7 others which are kind of key to our what we're expecting of our different butterfly members. And what we find is that this is something that they really latch onto. And one of the biggest things which creates our butterfly members is this, because it's almost like they look at this and they say, thank goodness for that. You know, I don't want to be someone who's part of the corruption. I don't want to be somebody who is not irresponsible. I don't want to be stealing. I don't want to be getting involved in any of these kinds of things. And your project encourages me not to do that. So therefore, they feel a kind of sense of relief.
Yeah, like they've come out of an environment where they're kind of defaulting into these things, and then it's like, oh, you mean I don't have to do that?
That's right. It's almost like they know what is right and what is wrong, but there's a lot of wrong things happen which they think they might be pushed into. I mean, it's not the same in you know, as a general thing, but what we do know is that after 6 months or so, a lot of them will come back to us and say, you know, I feel I've changed. I feel like I could have been part of the corruption. But now I feel confident. I'm also now amongst other children and other butterfly members who are not going to be part of that. In the future, they are part of a team of young people that can all work together to create change in Uganda. Obviously, that's the kind of thing that we really wanted to do when we set up the project.
That's great. Thank you.